For more than 90 years, Ohio Farm Bureau has provided substantial benefits to farmers and non-farmers all across Ohio. Support Ohio farming by becoming a member or renewing your membership today. Hi, this is Anthony Ehresmann, and this is Urbana Leader. If you'll remember, at the end of March, we had Chinese dairy farmers come through Urbana. Well, their trip actually began in Chicago and made its way through Indiana into Ohio, where it finally ended up at Ohio State with a seminar with our own Don Doc Sanders. I had the opportunity to be a co-host. While in Indiana, we took the opportunity to visit and tour a very large dairy operation called Fair Oaks Farms. Now, Fair Oaks Farms actually has a visitor center, restaurant, and cheese factory. We had the opportunity to videotape pretty much the whole trip. Lots of animatronics. There's even a 3D, 4D movie presentation.
You see, I'm a cow, and if it weren't for cows, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. I live in a freestyle barn with my own mills. The house is very posh. We each have our own bed filled with cooking and working safe. Seeing helps me get in and out of my bed more easily, and it keeps me healthy and cool.
One was a baby, and up here, and I can explain everything else to you, and we'll hope to get about 45 minutes.
Okay, so over here it's 10:21.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys are going around, it's about 45 minutes. What I see first, head on down to our Urbana farm, we have a cafe. Do that, and then once it's born, when we come back.
One of the things that was really exceptional about our visit to this particular farm in Indiana, Fair Oaks Farms, is they have actually have an enclosed area where you can watch the birthing of calves. And this is one of the star attractions. The kids really love this. Now, this calf had just been born moments ago and is now being licked clean by the mother cow, and this licking actually helps stimulate the calf, and in a couple hours this calf will actually get up and start trying to walk around rather awkwardly. Here we see the hooves just starting to make its way out on the other cow. And try to have them in various stages of birth. You can see the snout on this one starting to come out. It's just pushing. This process will take several hours. Now, these two cows that have been calving were monitored by video cameras, so if they had had any problems, technicians would have gone in and helped them. Like I said, the visitor center is very interactive. It's got even animatronic trees talking.
Many nutrients are removed from the land. Crops can't grow. You could say the land dies. Farmers have learned that lesson though, and make sure our farmland is given just enough
About
nutrients
farm
to grow
sustainability.
crops.
They do their own renewable energy here, but it's through anaerobic digestive system, using the methane gas to create energy to basically power the visitor center and most, if not all, of the farm operations, even having some left over to sell to the grid.
It's green energy, like solar power and windmills. It's renewable, so it helps the environment too. The process is called anaerobic digestion. Digestion, just like what happens when enough manure is vacuumed out of the barn with the cows in it, and is delivered to the manure treatment system, where it is run through a sand manure system.
Ground corn, straw, and other delicious ingredients for our dining delight. It's real food science. When it's feeding time, all the ingredients are mixed together in a feed wagon. Dairy farmers know that each cow needs to get a balanced amount of all the ingredients. And Total Mix Ration makes sure that happens. Watch that scale mounted to the side of the feed wagon. The feeder adds ingredients to the wagon one at a time, but keeps an eye on the scale. So
here's a feed wagon
right.
demonstration.
The fresh load of feed while we cows are in the milking parlor. While the fresh feed is mixing, the feeder takes the front end loader and scrapes any leftovers from the previous feeding. We cows are fed once each day, but enough fresh TMR is delivered so that we never run out. Now, what are the writers my two young friends take?
Carl, where are we? What's that smell?
I think we're in the rumen. That's stopped.
Getting the milk parlor. Not that we want to. There's no bugs to catch, no feed to eat. They wash the place down so often that only a duck can be comfortable in there. Back in the day, dairy operations are successful because they use the latest technology. And the cows average over 10 gallons of milk per day per cow. Some people say, you go girl. I say that's a lot of milk to drag around. They used to have to use up all the milk each day or it'd spoil. Now.
It's all got to be natural. Some of it's One, two, three.
There are a lot of things at Fair Oaks Farms for kids to do. This is actually a metal climbing wall using magnetic, very large, very strong magnets. This kid actually eventually gets out about halfway out before he slides back down again, but plenty to do for the kids. So it's a good way to teach kids how milk goes from the farm to the store. Later we got on a bus to go out and actually see the farm operations.
The Fair Oaks were originally purchased in 1998. You've all heard of America's Corn Belt. Well, you're in it. It's an ideal location for a dairy. Here we have an excellent supply of feed for the cows, as well as access to interstate highways to get the milk to the market. Farmland. But you'll also see the woods and what we call vegetative filter strips growing alongside our numerous streams and in front of the dairy. These filter strips are there to protect the waterways and prevent the nutrients needed by the crops from running off the fields during heavy rains, and provides habitat for birds and prairie animals as well. Oaks and area farmers produce thousands of tons of feed for the dairy operations. Most crops are grown and harvested locally. The average dairy cow will eat over 17 tons of feed per year. We call them freestall barns because the cows are not confined within the pens. They pick their own bed, eat and drink whatever they want, and move around freely. They love to hang out at the drinking fountain and interact with other cows in the herd. The dairymen who came together to create the Fair Oaks Dairy Adventure are all dedicated to modern dairy farming and cow comfort. They have a lot of experience with cows, and they know how to take care of cows. A healthy, comfortable, contented cow gives lots of milk. These dairymen also hire professional veterinarians and animal scientists, ensuring the comfort and well-being of their cows. Cows might not be rocket scientists, but they're smart and easy to train. You don't have to do things too many times with a cow, and she's ready to do it as a habit. And if she's treated and handled with love and care, a cow will respond by cooperating easily. One important aspect of cow comfort is keeping their freestall barn living areas clean. The cow's comfortable sand beds in the barn aisles are cleaned 3 times a day, and all of the cow manure is collected with a vacuum system. You see, at the dairies of Fair Oaks, an amazing recycling process is in use. It's called an anaerobic digester. The 4 large tanks that you see over there on your right are actually the digester cells. The smaller tank that you see in the foreground is for other nutrient-rich products that help maintain gas production. The building that you see on your right is where the vacuumed waste is delivered and the sand is separated. The processing building, which is farther back, is where the solids and liquids are separated. In the digester, the bacteria are devouring the manure and producing a biogas. That biogas contains 70% methane gas. Since this is a closed system, none of this gas can escape into the air. It is all collected, and the methane gas is used to run generators that produce electrical power for this dairy, the visitor center, and the cheese plant. Imagine, we're creating a renewable energy from simple cow manure and helping the environment at the same time. An added benefit is that the odors in the dairies are reduced by more than 90%. The manure solids that are left over, that brown material you see, has been converted into a topsoil through the same process that produces the biogas. We're driving through our commodity area now. This is where we store and mix the ingredients for our cow feed, which we call Total Mixed Ration, or TMR. This commodity slab is about 5 acres of cement. On your right, the large piles under the white covering are corn silage piles. The bulk of our TMR is corn silage. Now, corn silage is fermented like sauerkraut. The corn is softened and made easier for the cows to digest at the same time it is preserved. So we chop the entire corn plant, stalks, cobs, kernels, and all, and pack it into these piles using very heavy tractors that are called packing tractors. Some of the tractors have bulldozer blades on the front for pushing the chopped corn up to the top of the pile. Once the corn is packed, we cover it so that the air gets used up by the bacteria inside, and the corn plant ferments and preserves itself. Rubber rings made from the sidewalls of tires so they don't hold water are strung together to keep the covering tight. Because all the oxygen is used up, this corn silage can be preserved for several years under the plastic. We go through a similar process with haylage, but that's packed in long bags, as the alfalfa is cut and delivered here throughout the summer. The hay you see baled and stacked is brought in from local farmers, and some from as far as the western states like Colorado. These bays we're driving by are the different commodities that go into the feed. There's ground corn, ground soybeans, corn gluten, cottonseed, chopped straw, supplements, and very expensive vitamin and mineral mixes. The cows put all of this into a nutritious glass of milk and all the other dairy products we love. We have 3 different rations. One ration for far-off dry cows, one for cows ready to calve, and one ration for cows that are milking. Each of the rations is scientifically formulated by our dairy nutritionist for the needs of the cow at different times. A healthy cow will eat 100 pounds of total mixed ration each day, and she'll drink about 30 gallons of water a day too. Feed and water are always available for the cows. Nature is wonderful. We have all these feeds that humans can't digest, but the cow can extract and convert the nutritious ingredients in these feeds into a healthy, beneficial food we can enjoy. Milk. Now get ready to see some cows up close. We're going to drive past the dry cow barn. Dry cow means the cows are not milking now. And the dry cow barn is very important because, like all mammals, a cow has to have a calf so she can start to give milk. Cows have a 9-month gestation period or pregnancy. The dry cow barn is an area where the cows spend the last 2 months of that pregnancy. They are not giving milk. During this time, they rest up, conserve body weight, and get ready for the next calf to be born. Heifers which have been brought back from the heifer raising operations are preparing for their first calves. Our heifers are new to using a freestall barn, so in this area, they get familiar with the feed aisle stanchions and using the sand beds. Most importantly, the cows here are taking it easy. They eat a high-fiber diet with extra vitamins and minerals because they'll calve soon, and the pregnancy demands high-quality feeds. The cows in the back of this barn are the far-off dry cows. As you come closer to the front of the barn, we have what are known as the close-up cows. That means these cows are closer to having their calves. In the close-up area, the cows are watched by professionally trained maternity technicians who know when a cow is getting ready to calve. And when they see the first signs, they move the cow up to the birthing area. The maternity technician checks the close-up cows every hour. Now, on your right, you'll see the birthing area. The birthing area is where the cows actually have their calves. Here, they're almost constantly supervised by a maternity technician who monitors progress and makes sure that the cow doesn't have any difficulties. The technician can provide assistance if it's needed, and a veterinarian is on call at all times if they are needed. But because it is a natural event, less than 5% of the cows need any assistance at all. Normally, the calf should be born within 1 to 2 hours. After giving birth, the cow licks the calf clean, and within 45 minutes, the newborn calf will be standing. During that time, a maternity technician will give the calf its first feeding, called colostrum. Colostrum is the very first milk a freshened cow produces and is rich in important natural disease fighters called antibodies that protect the calf against disease for the first few months of its life. So, we make sure the calf gets 4 feedings of colostrum on its first day of life, 1/2 gallon each feeding. The colostrum is collected from fresh cows on the rotary, tested for quality. Notice the sand beds. The reason that cows are bedded on sand is that sand is inorganic. That means it will not support bacteria growth. This means it helps protect the cow's udder from infections. This area of northwest Indiana has an almost endless supply of sand. Another very important reason for bedding on sand is cow comfort. Sand helps support the cow's weight without creating pressure points that cause sore elbows and knees. It makes it easier for a cow to get in and out of her bed, and it forms around her to spread out her weight. The sand is brought over from our farm's sand pit and loaded into what is called a sand shooter. The sand shooter carries sand into the barn, and a high-speed conveyor directs the sand right into the beds. Here in Indiana, the summer heat and humidity is terrific for growing corn, but can be a little warm if you don't have air conditioning in your home or car. Cows can tolerate a greater range of temperature than humans can. In fact, they are comfortable between 10 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But once you get to 70 degrees and warmer, the cow starts to get uncomfortable. Cows don't sweat very much, so cows have to get rid of their extra body heat by evaporation, radiation from their skin, or increased respiration. We can help the cows stay cool and comfortable by drenching them with water to get rid of the heat. The white plastic pipes that run along near the aisle supply water to the soaker nozzles that spray the cows. The cold water evaporates off their head and back to take away some of the heat from their bodies. A cow's normal temperature is 101.5 degrees Fahrenheit. So with a nice cold soaker and lots of fans overhead, it's cool and breezy in the barns, and the cows like that. In fact, we maintain a 7-mile-per-hour breeze over the feed manger and the beds. During the winter, cows are much more comfortable than humans. They have the ability to keep themselves warm by eating extra food. This is possible because their digestion process generates heat for their bodies. The most important things the dairy farmer can do for cows is to protect them from the wind and moisture, keep their water troughs from icing over, and ensure that the walkways are clear of ice. To protect the cows from wind and moisture, each of the freestall barns is equipped with 2 sets of curtains, one at the top and one at the bottom of the barn. The curtains on the bottom are lowered to prevent the wind from reaching the cows once the daytime temperature gets below freezing. The top curtains are lowered to keep in some of the natural heat of the cows' bodies when the temperature gets below 20 degrees. All the water troughs are supplied with an internal heater to prevent them from freezing. Front-end loaders are used to scrape the walkways, and salt is applied to the crossover aisles to make sure the cows always have sure footing during cold weather. You see some of the cows lying down in their stalls. They're relaxing and chewing their cud.
I know.
Good morning. This is the rotor or carousel you may have heard or read about. It's 85 feet in diameter. It takes 8.5 minutes to go around once. It will hold 72 cows at one time. And that because of that, we can milk nearly 500 cows an hour. There are 3 to 5 technicians on the floor working, doing various jobs. We can't see them because of the cows and the angle. So above the windows, a couple of monitors. I want to show you a video that shows you what these technicians do. And then after the video, you'll have time for questions and answers.
Ahead of you is a 72-cow rotary milking part. Cows can be milked in many different ways, but most modern dairy farms bring the cows into a milking parlor and use automatic milking equipment to harvest milk in a clean, efficient manner. As you have heard, cows like a set routine. For this reason, the dairy farmer tries to ensure that each cow is milked the same way every time she enters the parlor. You definitely see them chewing their cud because they enjoy the rotary ride and enjoy being milked. It takes about 8.5 minutes for the cow to make a complete turn on the rotary. The actual milking time is about 5 minutes, but there are several steps taken before a milking unit is attached. There are dairy technicians working with cows in different positions around the rotary. Because you cannot see them from here, the monitors show you the various steps that are done to harvest milk on a rotary parlor. Every step of the milking process involves quality and cleanliness. The first step in properly milking a cow is to disinfect the teats and prime the cow. Immediately after entering the rotary, the teat area on the udder on each cow is sprayed with a disinfectant solution, and 2 squirts of milk are taken from each quarter. This is called priming, and it is done to stimulate the cow to let down her milk, as well as to check for any signs of poor milk quality. If the technicians see anything abnormal with the milk, the cow is milked into a bucket and the milk is discarded. Her number is recorded so she can be evaluated by the herdsman. The next step is to wipe off the disinfectant and ensure that the teats are clean and sanitary. This is done after the disinfectant is on the teats for 30 seconds to ensure that it has had time to kill bacteria on the teat. Using a separate towel for each cow, the milker removes the disinfectant and cleans the teats, one at a time. This process also continues the stimulation started by priming. The next milker is positioned where the cow will be 60 seconds after priming. Now, the technician attaches the automatic milking unit. The milking unit uses vacuum to gently massage the teat and draw the milk into the body of the milking unit called the claw. The paw is attached to a sanitary milk hose, and the vacuum power pulls the milk to a meter. This meter records the amount of milk given by each cow and sends that number right to the herdsman's computer. From the meter, the milk flows onto the milk receiver, which pumps it on through the milk line into the milk room. After the milk is harvested, the milk meter detects that the cow is finished and automatically detaches the milking unit so that the cow is not milked any longer than necessary. The last technician in the parlor applies a protective dip to the teats of each cow prior to leaving the rotary. This post-dip protects the teat from infection and contains lotion-like emollients to keep the cow's teats from chapping. Because the cows are such creatures of habit, they very quickly learn when it's time to exit the rotary and head back to their pens for more food and rest before their next appointment at the milking parlor. Attention to quality and cleanliness means that after each milking shift, the rotary is cleaned using automatic cleaning and sanitizing systems that cleans and sanitizes the equipment in place. We also replace parts like inflations and hoses on a regularly scheduled basis to ensure that they are operating correctly and do not provide any opportunity for contamination. As you return to the bus, you will pass through the observation area above the milk room, where we will pick up the path of the milk that was pumped from the receiver.
Earl's Farm is a vision that 9 dairy farmers have. Probably averages 1,000 miles. Some way. But it's liquid.
Kind of cool how they know how to get off on and off all by themselves.
What's the red mark you need to flip? Oh, it's off. Hers is off. Mandy smells bad.
Time they come in here to get milk.
How many minutes to drop the temperature one phase and several minutes. One aspect.
If you've had a chance to feel both pipes, the warm pipe is 101.5 degrees. That is the cow's body temperature. That's the temperature of the milk when it leaves the cow. In less than 5 minutes, they cool it to 36 degrees. That's the temperature of the inside.
Enters the milk room through the stainless steel milk lamp above the door. It's 101 degrees Fahrenheit, the same temperature as inside the milk. It passes through the two milk
Each of these tanks here will hold 8,000 gallons of milk. However, normally we only put between 5,000 and 6,500 gallons in a tank, depending on the size of the next tanker truck that's scheduled to come in. Some of them are larger than the others.
How many tankers do you send out in 24 hours?
This site sends between 4 to 5 tankers every day. And we have, 40 to 45 coming out of all of them all together. That equates to approximately 280,000 gallons of milk a day.
So you have your own milk processor, right?
In the cheese plant, we have a small one where we bottle our milk under our label and sell it as
So you have your own
Miracle.
label as well?
Pardon me?
You have your own label.
Yeah. There's 4 to 5 leave here every day. Most of it goes to Indianapolis to a distributor. His 2 biggest buyers are the Kroger grocery store chain and Dean's Milk Company. Some of the milk can go as far south as Atlanta, Georgia, or Florida. By law, when they put the milk on the tanker truck, it's only allowed to be on that truck for 72 hours. If they can't unload it in 72 hours, they have to destroy it. So once those truckers pull out, they don't waste any time going wherever they're trying to get to.
And like the gentleman said before, we have their own processing plant. They make their own cheese here. This is where they process the milk into cheese.
I ain't seen one of these.
And this is the end product, which was, I tried some of this cheese and it was very good.
And I'll make for sure, I'll find somebody and I'll make for sure we get that. I don't know where they were at.
We all had a meal. This is also in the visitor set, near the visitor center. There's a playground outside for the kids. There's a store and a restaurant. The food was very good and it was very reasonably priced.
We also have a spicy cheese. You guys have spicy smoky hot habanero party.
The Urbana Leader is sponsored in part by the Depot Coffee House, a gathering place for locals, a resting place for bicyclists, and a haven for history and railroad buffs. Located 6 blocks west of Monument Square on Miami Street in Urbana, the coffee house can be found in a refurbished 1890s train station on the Simon Kenton Bike Trail. Free Wi-Fi, fresh baked goods, local artwork, and good conversation can be found every day of the week at the Depot.
Well, the next morning, Urbana and Champaign County was added to the agenda, and we had our guests come to. Their first stop was the Tractor Supply Company, which had just opened a few weeks earlier, and they were kind enough to allow our group to come in and basically take over the joint. This is during normal store hours. You'll see that the Urbana Daily Citizen was also there on hand to interview people. There's our very own Doc Sanders.
Hey, Vivian.
Bob is with the tour company. You kind of coordinate.
And this guy here, we just got to do it. They're not following.
Hi, nice to meet you. That's deer.
Oh, you got a
gift card? Little off. So what did
That suits you.
Do you know where is some cocktail?
I got to say, the staff at Tractor Supply was very helpful, very, very patient. You know, a lot of these guys don't know English, and they had to wait for the translation. Of course, the vocabulary may be a little bit different. We may call it one thing and they may call it another thing, but it's basically the same thing. And learning that, getting past that vocabulary wall was a little hard, but these guys were very, very patient. I can't say enough about the people who were working for Tractor Supply. They did a great job for us.
Catalog or something. 尾巴怎么是 tail？ 尾巴。尾巴 yeah tail on the bottom of the hook。那他们有没有那个去尾的那个？没有。
We about order all those out of a catalog. Is what we normally do.
Can we find these?
I don't know. I'll ask.
他说呢，他通常呢也是要打电话去找那个目录单去找，但是这里也没有，他不知道。
We have a delegation from China.
Oh, really? Wonderful.
Yeah, I know that. I have the catalog of
Dairy people.
Oh, really? Good.
It's not committed by some
They'll have to go to like some kind of a catalog, NASCO or somebody like that.
Hey, none of the normal farm stores have that kind of item. However, at my clinic that I work at Ohio State, we've got those, and if he wants a box of them, I can get him a box from there. Okay.
这里边他没有，平常在这边小店里面也很难找，但是在他们诊所里边，他有那个东西。如果你需要的话，我们到俄亥俄的时候，他们给你一箱。
Hi, I'm Anthony Ehresmann, and this is Urbana Leader. Yesterday, I had the pleasure of accompanying a delegation of dairy farmers from China.
Right.
That was in part sponsored by Pfizer, and you're with Pfizer.
I am with Pfizer.
And your name is?
Vivian.
Vivian?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Song, S-O-N-G.
Right. And this is Pfizer Animal Health.
That's right.
Right, okay. Which is basically drugs and medical supplies for animal husbandry.
That's right.
Okay. And so your delegation, there's 14 in your group.
Right now it's 12.
12
Right.
people?
Right.
Okay. And yesterday we went to Fair Oaks, one of the largest dairy farms in America.
Right.
And so what did you think of that place? Was it as big as you thought it was going to be, or bigger, or what was it? What was your impression
We
of
were pretty impressed by this dairy farm because we have the similar size dairy farm in China, and but this is a single farm with over 20,000 milking cows. It's really amazing.
Right, 27,000.
No, 27,000, right? Yeah, for the milking cows. Yeah, it's even bigger than our biggest one in China.
We had an opportunity to witness some calf birthing. And apparently they have as many as 100 calves born every day.
Yep, we sell 50 cows.
I was pretty shocked. And it was a pretty impressive operation.
Right.
One of the things that impressed me the most was the carousel that held 72 cows at once.
Yes.
For the milking process.
Yeah, for the milking, and for 8 minutes for one round.
One round.
Right, and the 500 cows, they said, as for 1 hour.
1
so
hour.
Very efficient.
Very, very efficient.
Very efficient.
And I got to tell you, one of the things that most impressed me was those cows gone on and off by themselves.
That's
All
right. Yeah.
They pretty much were in control of the whole thing. Now, once in a while, you ran across a cow who didn't want to get off. Apparently, they like to ride the carousel.
Did you notice there's a mat besides of the entrance?
Right.
So if the cow don't want to back to their position, so the mat will hit the head. So,
right. Push them out. We'll push them out.
Yeah.
Like you've had your time is up. It's kind of like the rides at Kings Island.
Right.
Now. Today we're here in Urbana at the Tractor Supply.
Right.
Which just opened, and now do they have operations like this, stores like this in China?
Not exactly the same. We have that different store for certain agriculture supply. For example, that may be the drugs, and some store just supply for the tools.
Versus for tools.
But this kind of store, like a one-stop shopping, we don't have the similar store right now.
Right. Well, we were telling Darren, who's a manager here, that he ought to open a store in China.
I know. We had to do some overseas expansion, right?
I think we need to do some overseas expansion,
right?
Or have more of you guys come over here.
That's right. Yeah.
to do all your shopping in Urbana.
Already shop a lot. I can see they have a shopping list.
Oh yeah, they had a shopping list,
right?
And they were kind enough to get hats and catalogs from Tractor Supply to take back with them, and we really appreciated you coming out here, especially to this place. Now, later this afternoon, we're going to go to Freshwater Farms. Have you ever been there?
Not yet.
Well, you're going to be very impressed.
I hope so.
And make sure that you pet the sturgeons.
Okay.
Apparently, the sturgeons like to be petted.
I'm so excited.
They'll come right up to you, and you can pet them right on the head.
Very nice.
Which is a lot different than the sturgeons that I grew up with.
Okay.
Because we fish them out of the American River or the Sacramento River in California, and that's like the prime rib of fish. And they're just now starting to breed them here in Urbana. So it's a pretty impressive operation that they have out there. Oh yeah,
see that, right?
It's going to be a very good time, and you're going to for small fish operation, it's very impressive on how they get it done. You're going to enjoy that. Oh yeah.
To see that.
Yeah. So hopefully we'll be able to talk to you when we get over there.
Sure.
And I hope that you guys are enjoying your trip out here.
I will.
And we are so glad that you came to Urbana.
Thanks. I hope you have a chance to visit China.
Absolutely. Oh well, you know what? I've been there one time.
When?
I was 20 years old.
Wow.
I was in the Air Force at the time. Yeah, it has changed a lot. Yeah. It was actually Hong Kong, and Hong Kong was still under British rule back then. It wasn't until, what, 1990?
1997.
1997 that it went over to China. So I'm sure it's changed a little bit, but not much.
A lot.
I tell you, I was in the hotel, and it was all nice and calm and peaceful. And then when you step out onto the street, there are so many people and so many things going on all at one time. The contrast is amazing.
It is.
It's
especially
amazing.
For the people living in like spacious area, like
United
like
me.
States, North Americans.
Yeah, North Americans. When I spent a lot of time overseas, either in the service or working for technology companies.
Right.
And the first thing I noticed when I came back after long stays was how big the highway was. And I was thinking, darn, I have this whole lane to myself.
Right.
Because I'm so used to being in countries where all the streets are very narrow.
Right.
So, but China's a very big country, and it's very easy to get out there and get lost. And they have a lot of underutilized property out there.
Right.
That, and I'm sure with resources that haven't even been imagined yet.
That's right.
So,
yeah.
And this kind of exchange, us going over there and you guys coming over here, I think is going to benefit both of us.
Especially for us, because America is still very far away developed, especially for the dairy industry. We are far behind of the U.S. right now.
I've been told that even though they're very impressive and they're very large farms,
right?
But technology-wise, they may be in some places as much as 50 years behind.
That's right. We have very modern design farm, but in terms of technology management, still far behind of the current the U.S. operation. So that's why we try to show the best of farm in the U.S. Hope that they can get something back to China.
Right. And you're coming over here just in time for a whole new set of new standards in animal husbandry.
Right.
We are all across the country. There are states and farm bureaus and farm operations that are looking back at the last 100 years of animal good practices for animal husbandry and reevaluating those previous 100 years so that we are doing the best, latest, greatest best practices for the next 100 years.
Yes.
And so you're coming over here at a very good time to
I think so,
get this thing.
Because we have role model ahead of us, so easy for us to follow up and to learn something from you guys.
And Pfizer's doing a great job. You're working for a great company. Congratulations on coming over here.
I'm so proud to work with Pfizer.
Yeah. I've always been, and they spend a lot of money and a lot of time and a lot of brain power on animal products and animal health.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for coming.
Well, we're standing in what used to be a chicken farm. That's what these long buildings were used for. About 30 years ago, we started converting this to raise fish. We started with rainbow trout, which is the main food fish we raise.
30年以前呢，这还是一个鸡场、鸡舍。后来他们把这买下来了，变成一个养殖场。现在主要的饮食可用看到这3种。
Again, trout is the main thing we raise for people to eat. We also sell a lot of other live fish for people to put in their own ponds. We do a lot of fish stocking here in the spring. Through the fall is a very busy time for us with that.
它这个场子主要的还是供我们人类食用的，他们也是给其他的有养殖这个提供一些鱼苗，他们主要经营内容。
So with people that have a pond, they can come into our store. We can say these are the fish you need for this pond. Different equipment they can get to aerate their ponds. Different things like that.
如果有鱼塘的这样需求，你想要买鱼苗的话，可以到他这边选鱼苗，同时呢还可以选很多的设备，跟养鱼相关的设备在这里。
But here in this building, one thing we do that's different from a lot of other fish farms is it's, well, indoor for one, and we use a lot of recirculating system, which has a lot more potential for a small amount of space in old buildings that already exist.
它这个是还是利用以前的老的鸡舍改造出来的，但是跟其他的这个场比的话，它的这个循环再利用的功能做的还是非常好的，所以虽然比较小，但是它的效率还是比较高的。
This area down here, people can come and look at different types of fish and turtles and things they might find around the area, and even some other things.
那在这个场子里，我们可能会看到不同的鱼的种类，还有一些龟类、龟之类的，在这里面看得到的。
So, yeah, the community can come in and learn about some things. Kids get to play with animals and hold turtles.
通常是小孩子，还有周围的社区的人会经常过来参观，然后对小孩子一些遗产方面的一些基本知识。
So that's basically what we do here. We raise food fish, we sell to people with ponds, we have garden pond supplies, and we sell koi and goldfish to people's backyard ponds.
那这就是他们主要的经营业务，就是一个是提供供人类吃的鱼，再就是给这种有鱼塘的这种水产的养护提供鱼苗，还有一些我们看到金鱼，有些家有一些装修装饰，那么金鱼他们也提供，他们是最主要的一个经营品种的范围。
Isn't it true that you guys have developed several innovative methods of reclaiming water and using it over that is unique to this farm?
Unique in the state, certainly. I mean, we're the main adopter of doing this indoors as far as size of indoor facility. There's other big farms. There's a big farm in Indiana raising perch that's using indoor technologies, slightly different from what we're doing. We'll see how that goes. They put a lot of money into that project and has yet to pay for itself. But we do need to reuse a lot of our water for the environmental aspect, and also out of necessity. We need to keep heat in for some fish, and if we use cold groundwater, we have to keep it.
那它这个主要是一个室内的养殖场，所以它我们刚才讲了，它很多都是循环再利用的。它的地下水主要是从它的水主要是地下水来的，但是所以它有很多加热系统来保持这个水分。
We've had old systems that we built 20 years ago. We've had systems we built 6 months ago.
但是新老交替了，有20年前的老设备，也有6个月以前新上的一些新的设备。
So we try to keep improving the systems, make little modifications, see what works better. So we've got 30 years of experience doing it.
他们在过去的30年不断在更新他们的养殖条件，还有养殖设备，来提高他们的效率。
Any other questions?
Is there you have what kind of sturgeon here?
We have 2 species of sturgeon, the white sturgeon that we've had for 19 years, and just recently some lake sturgeon on loan from Ohio State.
And it's in a breeding process?
We're in the waiting phase.
In the waiting phase?
They have to be about 20 years old before they breed.
Really?
We've had them for 19 years. We got them airmailed from Oregon when they were just little guys.
And they're not that little anymore, though.
No.
They're pretty big. It's impressive.
And how long is the lifespan of the sturgeon?
Up to 150 years.
And Chinese person like the meat very much.
Huh?
Chinese person like the meat of
Sturgeon? Oh, I love it. It's
and expensive.
prime rib of fish. Me and my grandfather used to go fishing for these. And you have, in California.
In California.
In California, in the river.
Salty river or freshwater?
Freshwater. Sacramento.
Okay.
Sacramento and the American River. And the ones we fish, they have to be at least 47 inches long.
Whoa.
Otherwise, it's illegal to take them out of the water.
Okay.
And then you cut them into big, thick steaks, right? And because they have no bone, it's all cartilage. You just pull that right out, and so you ended up with this very nice piece of almost beef-like steak, white meat that you just lightly flour and fry. Really, really good. Good eating.
Yep. You fed them some? I know if you somebody come back to him.
Fluffy.
I'm gonna see we've got some big trout back here.
And everyone I spoke to said that the people that they met in Urbana and Champaign County were just as friendly as could be, and they really enjoyed this little visit here to the store and to the freshwater farms. And this is the kind of outreach that we need to be doing for economic development and for to improve agricultural dimensions in Ohio. So not only do farmers feed us, clothe us, house us, and fuel us, but they're also engaging in cultural exchange. I'd like to thank, of course, Freshwater Farms and Tractor Supply Company, the City of Urbana, the County of Champaign, Doc Don Sanders from OSU, P.T. Thompson, the President of the Champaign County Farm Bureau, Dale Thompson, who's also with Champaign County Farm Bureau, Anthony Ehresmann, Champaign County Farm Bureau, Fair Oaks Farms in Indiana, Mumford's in Urbana. So a lot of people were involved with this. Pfizer Animal Health USA also. And we want to thank all of those people. And I hope you enjoyed the show.
Fairly aggressive species?
No, not at all.
The Urbana Leader is sponsored in part by the Depot Coffee House, a gathering place for locals, a resting place for bicyclists, and a haven for history and railroad buffs. Located 6 blocks west of Monument Square on Miami Street in Urbana, the coffee house can be found in a refurbished 1890s train station on the Simon Kenton Bike Trail. Free Wi-Fi, fresh baked goods, local artwork, and good conversation can be found every day of the week at The Depot.